Hi everyone, this is Matt from DrawingTutorialsOnline.com. How are you guys doing out there? Well, I got a really cool drawing tip of the week for you, and it basically is all about what are the core techniques you really want to focus on when learning how to draw a portrait. There's two different ends of the spectrum. You could overwhelm yourself and try to think about like 20 to 30 different things when you're starting to draw, especially with your pencils and your paper, and you got too much going on in your brain. And then there's the opposite side of the spectrum where you're not thinking about more than one or two techniques. There really are about several core techniques that you want to rotate in your brain when you're starting to learn how to draw portraits. So if you're interested in that, check out this video critique. I'll see you at the end of the video. Let me just talk to you about like some basics here of things that are really jumping out, the whole process. So number one, and I'm going to try to talk at least about like 4 different techniques. So I don't just talk about one thing, but I got to start with the most basic, and that is this huge angle that you're missing. Or it could be an angle or it can be a gesture. But this, and then that. Just a little different. Just a little different. You see it? This angle, that angle. All right, so that's number one. Now let's do another technique that you missed. Okay, like I said, I'm gonna try to do a whole bunch of different techniques here. What's right below the far left edge of his hair? And now let's just look at that negative space. Okay, what's right below the far edge? And let's look at that negative space. You see the difference there? Okay, that is extremely simplistic and fundamental, but it's something that you've got to really practice seeing. Now, let's do it. I'm going to do it again. So maybe I can talk about something different. What's the widest part of the head? From here to here. That is the widest part, in my opinion. What's the widest part in your drawing here to here? So if I pull the line down, it touches there just about, that little wisp of hair. Now if I pull that line up, you see the difference? So a lot of the angles and the measuring. Now, let's talk about something completely different. Let's talk about the form. And the form is a little bit more difficult, but always on a portrait, because of the skull, cheekbone, temple, that's the side of the head. And then you've got to think about the front plane of the forehead. So now we have front plane of the head, let's just draw through the nose. That nose can confuse us. Front plane, side plane. You see, you started it here. You're starting it and you're giving me some shading over here, and that's great. But you left the ear light and then you didn't bring the shading up. Remember, everything is about top to bottom shading. And if we just kind of think about a cylinder, you're always going to, if there's a shadow side, it's usually from the top to the bottom. Like, it's very rare that you're going to have shading and then it goes light on the shadow side. Like, you got to be very consistent with that. And case in point, like, this is so true because it cruises all the way down the whole shadow side. And yes, there's a little reflected light hitting his shoulder, but for the most part, you can see it now. Here's the light of his neck, and then we have light over here. Now, to answer your question and talk about a different technique, so I love to always cling on to sternomastoids. I love to think about the trapezius as being cylindrical. And I love to always think about this deltoid being a cone shape. and upside down. Well, no, it's not upside down. It's a very round cone shape. And then you've got to think about the cylinders of the collarbones. So those are a few other things to always think about. See, you have to do the basics. And there's no way around this. Like, there's no secret thing that's going to help you. It's got to go back to the angles and the measurements all the time, especially with a portrait. Angles, measurements, negative space. So now let's simplify and let's just do that. Just a quick, simple angle. You have this and you have that, but now you can't do the angles and the measurements in a vacuum. Like, you have to incorporate measuring. So pull a line straight up. Okay, big angle, pull a line straight up. Look at that measurement. Be solid with the shade. And so when I think, me personally, two of the hardest things to draw portraits, hands. Okay, in the beginning when you're learning that stuff. So it's hard because you've got to rotate like 7 or 8 things in your brain, more than 7 or 8 things, but I'm trying not to overwhelm you. You've got to think about gesture, you've got to think about angles and measurements, you've got to think about negative space, you've got to think about the form. You always have to ask yourself the question, where is the light coming from? There's many other things with portraits, like shape of hair, shape of face, subtleties with value matching. But yeah, does that make sense? All right. Good job. All right. Thanks for watching that. I hope that you learned something from it. Implement and rotate those techniques in your brain when you're drawing a portrait from life or from a photograph. And if you like that video, I'd love to hear a comment from you. Visit the blog. Come on over and leave us a comment. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.